Welcome to This Explainer. Today, we're diving headfirst into literally the ultimate sports debate of our generation. We're looking at a groundbreaking 2026 scientific study from the journal Movement and Sports Sciences that finally attempts to settle the score once and for all between Cristiano Ronaldo and Lionel Messi. Now, whether you're a die-hard football fan or just someone who's completely fascinated by peak human performance, understanding how to actually measure greatness, well, it's incredibly compelling stuff. Let's get right into it.
For well over 2 decades now, football fans worldwide have been arguing over who is truly the greatest of all time, the so-called GOAT. Billions of people have debated this. But let's be totally honest with ourselves here. Those arguments usually rely super heavily on tribalism, fandom, and, of course, highly subjective opinions. Everyone has their favorite, and the debate is almost always fueled by emotion rather than hard data. But what if we could strip all of that emotion away? What if we looked purely at the absolute science of their performance?
Okay, so if we just look at the traditional metrics, the sheer amount of hardware these guys have collected, it's just staggering. Messi holds 38 club trophies across his time with teams like Barcelona and Paris Saint-Germain, plus major international wins with Argentina, including the World Cup. And on the flip side, Ronaldo boasts 31 club trophies from powerhouses like Manchester United, Real Madrid, and Juventus, not to mention 2 major European titles with Portugal. They are indisputable examples of ideal football players. But here's the thing. Simply counting trophies doesn't actually tell us who is fundamentally more reliable on the pitch, minute by minute. Section 1. A new scientific approach. So, researchers realized that just counting up total goals, well, that leaves way too much room for context to muddy the waters. To find a standardized measure for raw, unfiltered scoring consistency, they turned to a survival analysis technique called competing failure modes, or CFM. Now, this is absolutely fascinating. CFM is actually an engineering method. It's typically used to measure the reliability of machines by analyzing the exact duration of time it takes for an event, or a failure, to occur. In this context, the event is a goal being scored. They're literally measuring reliability by calculating the exact time it takes a player to score from the very minute they step onto the pitch. Now, to actually feed this incredibly complex mathematical model, you need flawless data, right? So, this rigorous analysis pulled from the world-renowned TransferMark database, compiling over 17 years of match data. This spanned from the 2002-2003 season all the way to the 2020-2021 season. We are talking about tracking every single minute played, every single goal scored, across 1,351 games for Ronaldo and 1,203 games for Messi. It covers the entire golden era of their professional careers. Section 2. 6 ways to score. Because, let's face it, in football, a goal isn't just a goal. How you get the ball into the net really matters, and it tells us a lot about a player's specific skill set. The study categorized their goals into 6 distinct modes of failure for the opposing team's defense. These include right-footed kicks, left-footed kicks, penalty kicks, direct free kicks, long-range kicks, and headers. Each of these represents a completely different technical challenge, right? They all carry their own level of difficulty. By breaking it down this way, the researchers could evaluate not just if they score, but how reliably they execute entirely different physical mechanics. Before we even get into the super advanced math, just looking at the raw descriptive data gives us some incredible baseline numbers. Across his analyzed career in this dataset, Messi averaged a truly staggering 0.80 goals per match. When you realize this stretches across nearly 2 full decades of elite, top-tier professional play, maintaining that kind of average is almost incomprehensible. It's wild. And Ronaldo, he's right there with him, pulling in a phenomenal 0.72 goals per match. Now, a quick caveat that's interesting to note from the research. Ronaldo actually acted as a slightly higher volume shooter, averaging 6.8 shots per game compared to Messi's 6.1. But honestly, both players possess the highest number of shots on goal per game of any player in the entire world over the last 2 decades. But here is where it gets really fun, because their styles contrast beautifully. Notice how completely different their blueprints for greatness actually are. Messi scored over 63% of his goals with that legendary left foot of his, leaning heavily on his playmaking and dribbling prowess. Meanwhile, Ronaldo showed this distinct, incredible versatility. 38.5% of his goals came from his dominant right foot, but a massive 17.28% were headers. He utilized his physical quickness and aerial dominance, compared to Messi's 3.7% in the air. Now, check this out. Look at how the distribution of their goals maps out across the full 120 minutes of match play, including extra time. You can see the sheer volume of data points here. Every single vertical spike represents goals scored at that exact minute mark over their careers. It's a literal visual representation of their relentless pressure. Both players are striking consistently across both halves, proving their incredible physical endurance and mental sharpness from the opening whistle to the very last second. Okay, so this brings us to their specific scoring methods, mapped out using what statisticians call Kaplan-Meier reliability curves. I know it sounds super technical, but basically, these curves track the probability of a player not scoring as time ticks on. And when researchers ran the statistical test to compare them, the results were astounding. The math proved there is absolutely no statistically significant difference in the reliability for penalty kicks, direct free kicks, or open play using their dominant feet. The lines weave and intersect constantly, demonstrating that when it comes to executing these specific skills over time, they are just matching each other blow for blow. Section 3, the statistical verdict. All right, the moment of truth. After crunching the numbers across all these different scoring modes, combining the data for right feet, left feet, headers, set pieces, we hit the absolute climax of the study, their overall combined CFM reliability curves. Notice the blue line for Ronaldo and the red line for Messi, surrounded by their 95% confidence intervals. As you can see, those lines overlap almost perfectly over the entirety of normal and extra time. They trace the exact same downward slope. That means the probability of them scoring as the minutes tick by drops at the exact same highly reliable rate. So if we zoom in closely on this magnified view, the crucial takeaway here is that statistically speaking, their overall consistency and reliability in scoring goals are completely 100% identical. The math literally does not pick a winner. Over 17 years, facing evolving defensive tactics, changing teammates, and aging bodies, both players maintained a perfectly equal, unparalleled level of goal-scoring reliability that is just far, far above any other footballer around the world. And you know, this actually leads to a really beautiful conclusion from the researchers themselves. As they point out, picking a favorite between these two isn't about one guy being objectively, scientifically better than the other. The data proves they're equals. Rather, picking a favorite is a philosophical statement. It's a preference for a very specific style of greatness. Do you prefer Messi's magical left foot, his playmaking, and his natural laterality skills? Or do you prefer Ronaldo's physical dominance, his aerial prowess, and absolute sheer versatility? Knowing that the hard, unfiltered data proves these two legends are perfect statistical equals over a nearly 20-year span, I mean, wow, it's staggering. It's something we might literally never see again in professional sports. And it leaves us with this massive question to ponder. How will this once-in-a-lifetime, perfectly balanced rivalry inspire the next generation of the beautiful game? Will future players try to emulate the specialized magic of Messi, the versatile athleticism of Ronaldo, or are they going to strive for a completely new scientific frontier of greatness? Thank you so much for joining this explainer, and remember to always keep questioning the data behind the world around you.